Since we are unable to continue physical classes, the lectures are being conducted via online. So we are helpless to do anything. So it's a situation where we have to attend the classes via online. So take a notebook with you, right? After the class, I can share these slides, right? Presentation slides. Even I don't know whether you already have this one. If you don't have it, I can share it with you, this slide. But to make it class very interactive and interesting, try to take a notebook, try to keep a notebook with you, right? So if there is anything, you can mark it down, even if you don't understand any of that. So you can also ask me to explain, right? So in that case, it is very useful if you keep a notebook. And also, since you are attending lectures at your home, so please try to keep the mic mute unless you want to ask any question. And also make sure your videos are turned off, right? So let's start the subject. So as you know, the subject is data representation and organization, right? Data representation and organization. So I guess this is first year, first semester subject, right? So all the subjects, all the modules in first year, first semester is the foundation, the very, very important subjects. Since you are starting your career as an IT student, the first year subjects are very, very important because those are the subjects that give you the solid foundation, right? If you have very good understanding about foundation only, you can build the house, right? So like that. So this subject, data representation and organization, is one of the very useful and very important subject, especially if you are planning to become software engineers or network engineers, right? So because computer is all about data, right? The world itself is all about data. So throughout this subject, we are going to learn about how computer is representing data. Computer is representing data and how computer organizes the data. So data, okay. So before that, now this is your module code, right? This is your module code, HNAID 1104. So it's first year, first semester, maybe. So that's the meaning of this one, right? And this is your subject, and this subject is equivalent to 2 credits. So GPA compulsory subject, and from first year. And this is our timeline. So to learn this subject, we will have 45 hours. So hopefully we are starting today. So spreading 15 weeks. So each week we will have 3-hour lectures. So altogether 45 hours, right? It's a common module. It means regardless of any specialization, all the HND IT students, they have to take this subject, right? And also this subject, there will be a continuous assessment test. We call it CAT, continuous assessment test. So you have to get the pass marks, right? You have to get the pass marks in order to sit the final exam for this subject. So you have to make sure 2 things. One is we understand the subject for the application, and also another thing, you have to pass the exam, right? So as I told you here, this is the aim of the module. Why we learn this module is because to enable the students to understand and describe how information and data are represented inside a computer system. So computer, the most unique feature is, you know, right, what is it? When we talk about computer, it takes input and processes it, and then it provides the output. So we heavily rely on data. Computer is all about data. Without data, computer is nothing, right? So now you see here, this is the assignment and weighting. So your final exam carries 50% of the marks, right? Your continuous assessment test inside the classroom activities, group work, quizzes, assignments, and tutorials carries 50% of the marks. So if you target 50%, 50 out of 50 in your assignments or quizzes or whatever, then you can easily take A. Even if you get 25% or 25 marks out of 50, then you can simply get the A, right? So try to attend the classes regularly, right? And also make sure you give your fullest when you do the assignments and take home exercises. So another rule I want to clarify, right? In my class, right, when it comes to attendance, you know, attendance is very compulsory, right? Attendance is compulsory. So in my session, I will take attendance like this. In a class, so in a class, randomly I will send you a index and name 2 times. Within the single class, I will ask you 2 times. So for that, I will give 5 minutes because I want to make sure everyone is attentive and listening to me, right? So for example, I will not tell when I will ask. Within these 3 hours, in 2 different cases or 2 different times, I will ask you to send your index number with name via the chat, in the chat, right? So then let's say, for example, I ask you to tell your attendance 2 p.m. and one is around, let's say, 3:30 p.m. So you mark your attendance at 2 p.m., but you are not on this 3:30 p.m., then you won't be considered as attendance. So this is the style I practice just to make sure all the students are actively participating in the class. So please make sure that, right? So remember, if I ask you to mark your attendance, what you have to do is you have to mention your index number dash with your name. Then I can mark it, right? So that's, is it clear? Is it clear for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, okay. Right. So now let's. So and also once again, I told some of the rules you can use to learn, right? Some of the best practices. Keep a notebook with you. And whatever I'm telling, if it is something important that you understand, then try to mark it. That way you can be active in the class, right? And also, if there is anything you don't understand, feel free to ask. You can ask by opening your mic or just put your question in the chat box. Then I will, then and there I will check it and I will reply, right? So, and also I am trying to record my lectures and I have a YouTube channel where I will upload this, then you can refer it also later, right? But for that, don't get absent to the classes. Please always attend to the lectures, right? Because I will share, apart from subject, industry experiences, right? Because I had been working as a software engineer and chief technical officer for some of the private companies in Sri Lanka. So those industry experience where applicable also I will share in the classroom. So try to get maximum benefit. Right. So these are some of the learning outcomes. Learning outcome means after learning this subject, what are the expectation or what are the knowledge, what kind of knowledge you will have? First one, so if remember, If these are the learning outcomes, your exam paper, questions, everything will be based on this learning outcome. So for example, you want to take a driving license. Driving license. Driving license. So if they want to provide the driving license, what are the skills you should have? You should know how to drive a vehicle, right? How to drive. And also other thing is you should know road rules, road or traffic rules. So to test this, we have an exam, and to test whether we are able to drive, we have a trial. Then if we have this, if we pass the trial, that we are proving I can drive the vehicle safely. And also throughout the exam, if you prove that you have the necessary knowledge about traffic rules, then you are granted driving license. Likewise, to pass the subject, you should prove that you have acquired these learning outcomes. You have acquired this learning outcome. Sorry. That's the reason you have exams, continuous assessments, and so on. So all the exams will be based on these learning outcomes. So first learning outcome, you should be able to describe data. You should know what is data. You should know how to define data. So what we mean by data. And then information. So what is information, and also what are the difference between data and information, and also weighted and non-weighted number system. So today we will learn this, right? So I'm not explaining now. So after some time today itself, I will explain what is weighted and non-weighted numbers, and describe and use different number formats and convert data between different number formats. So here, in O level, we would have learned binary, octal, decimal, hexadecimal, and so on. Those details we will learn here, right? Don't worry about METs, right? I will simplify as much as I can, so you will enjoy the lesson, right? Don't worry about don't think that it is METs related. Of course, if you want to learn IT, you need to learn METs also, English also, everything, right? Because whatever we learned in school, even though we have not applied, one day it will be applied whenever, right? Wherever. So don't think I don't need this and I don't need that. Whatever you learn will be useful for you one day, right? Now I myself doing research in NLP, natural language processing. It's related to artificial intelligence, right? So now I need to know the knowledge of language, how one word transfers from another word and like that. So this is we learn in our school, in our Tamil or Sinhala subject, right? So those things are now useful. Even probability. In school, we learn probability. That is now useful when we learn artificial intelligence, right? And also we learn statistics, that is useful in data science. So these are some of the hot topics in IT. So for that, whatever we learn in school is applicable, even though you don't know whether these are applicable or not. But of course, one day you will have to apply that. So don't take anything lightly. Try to learn it, right? Even if you don't know, if you are not much interested in maths, from this subject now onwards, you learn it, right? Some people think, okay, how many of you, I just asking a question, right? So please put the answer in chat box so that I can understand all about you. In IT, what do you want to become? Software engineer or network engineer or something else? Can you just put it in chat box, please, now? Can you just let me know whether which path you want to do? Even if you don't have any idea, no problem. Now let me know what is your interest: software path or networking path or any other field in IT. Okay, I'm getting software engineer more. Come on, network engineers, try to put the message. So even not only software and network, if you have any other idea in IT, you can just put it. Right, good. I'm getting cloud administrator, software engineer, software developer, network engineer. What else? Who want to become database administrator? Isn't there anyone who wants to become a game developer, mobile app developer, web developer, web designer, game designer, machine learning developer, robotics engineer, machine learning? So there are so many different paths in IT. Unfortunately, most of our students, you think software engineer, network engineer. Very good. Software security researcher, right? So IT is like an ocean, right? Whatever you think, each and every module, you have a career for that itself. Very good. There is another student, and there's a student, he wants to create a software company. Very good. So like that, you will have you should have different ideas, right? Okay. So thank you for the response. Now let's come to our subject. What is a computer? What is a computer? Right? Computer has different definitions, right? Computer has different definitions, right? Right. Even though computer has different definitions, so in our situation, a computer is an electronic device. Like a computer is an electronic device, just like a radio. Radio is an electronic device, TV, and whatever you can name, right? But what makes computer unique? What makes computer unique? It is operating under the control of instructions. That's a unique feature of a computer, right? A computer is an electronic device. So radio, TV, and so on, this is, you can't instruct, you can't program it, right? Radio, you can't program it, right? TV, you can't program it. But computer operating under the control of instructions. You can give the instruction to the computer to perform any task. You can instruct. So instructions stored in its own memory. So it has a memory, right? You can store the instructions. For example, if you click the shutdown button, what does it do? It shuts down the computer, right? If you click the icon, for example, it opens the MS Word or whatever the application. So operating under the control of instructions stored in its own memory. It has a memory where you can store the data, right? Where you can store the data. Those data, based on those data, computer is operating. So a computer is an electronic device operating under the control of instruction stored in its own memory. So what does it do? We feed the data to the computer. We feed the data to the computer and it processes, right? It processes and it produces the output. For example, you want to you want to calculate these numbers, then if you process it, it will give the output 120, like that, whatever. Even processing means everything, right? Even if you install a game and if you want to do it processing the game and you are getting the output, that means you can play the game. So those are what we mean by data processing and information. So now we will come to this part. What is data and information and process? So you see here, for example, today itself, now there are 72, except me, there are 71 students. Now you are 71 students are here, right? 71 students are here. Now you just told software, network, and so on. So these are data, right? Just raw facts. It is not that much meaningful. It is not that much meaningful. It is not that much meaningful. For example, you see here number and so on, right? Like this, so on, right? So then it does process, it calculates the price, and now we see the output in a formatized way. For example, you can see here what's the total is here, the paid amount is here, the change is here, and it is very meaningful, right? It is very meaningful. Otherwise, now we are having unfortunate situation, COVID situation, right? Let's say in country A, today is the infection is 20, tomorrow is just 18, 16. Then okay, based on this data, when we process it, okay, we can understand, okay, COVID is reducing. In another country B, the number of infected persons are increasing. Then we can understand, okay, the situation is going worse. So like that, data is just a raw facts. For example, today, if you mark it, okay, I got up at 5:30 a.m. It is meaning, it is not giving any meaning, right? Just you woke up today at 5:30 a.m. What if you mark this regularly for 2 months? If you mark this regularly for 2 months, let's say you also mark at what time you go to bed. For example, today you went sleep at 10:30 p.m. so that you got up. You mark it for 2 months regularly, and if you process the data, that is, if you organize the data, or if you process the data, for an example, you can come to understand, okay, all the days you go to bed before 11 p.m. you have got up before 6 a.m. These are some of the information you are getting from your daily record of going to bed and getting up schedule for the last 2 months. Then you understand, if you sleep after 12 o'clock, mostly you get up around 6 a.m. So we make a decision. So based on this processed data, okay, you can make a decision. What sort of decision we can take in this example? Okay, if I want to get up early, I should go to bed early. That's one decision, right? So data collected raw facts, just a raw facts. So based on that raw facts, you cannot make any decision, right? Student name, exam marks, exam status, your age, and so on. Information So like I asked, now if I ask one individual, he is telling, okay, I want to do software engineering. It doesn't give any much meaning, right? If I ask you the entire class, now you are 70 students, out of these 70, let's say 50 students are telling software engineering, 20 students are telling network engineering. Then I can make some decision. Right? I can make some decision. Oh, okay. None of the students have told mobile or security and so on. Then I can make a decision. Okay, what kind of decision I can make? Okay, sometimes students have only idea about software and networking. Then we have to educate the students on other IT fields also. Then they can make a they can make a better decision, right? So like that, if we process the data, we can make useful decision, right? If we can make useful decisions. So that's the data and information. Data means collected raw facts. So using that, we cannot make any meaningful decision. But if we process the data, if we organize the data, we can make some meaningful decision. Right? These are the two distinction about difference between data and information. And again, if you see the data in computer system, usually the computing systems are complex devices. It doesn't deal with numbers alone, right? We give different type of data, image, text, image, audio, video, graphics, and so on, right? Computer can process all this and it can give the necessary output, right? So data can be anything in computer. It's not only text or numbers, right? All these are data. All these are data. Right. Now this is one useful thing, right? Ways of representing data or right. First of all, you have to understand representation. Anyone? What's the meaning of representation? Anyone can give the answer. What we mean by representation? You would have heard the term sales representative, or simply they will tell in the short form sales rep. So what's the meaning of representation?
Sir,
Yes, tell me.
Leadership. So leadership.
Leadership. One
Mul-
person. Oh, tell me. Mul
உருவாக்கம்.
உருவாக்கம். So I think ரீந்து சொன்னா முல் அதால நீங்க அப்படி சொல்றீங்க. Okay. Anyway, good try. Otherwise, any other answer?
பிரதிநிதிப்படுத்தல்.
Right, very good. They have one answer in chat also. Piradinidhituvam, representation. Right? That's the meaning of our subject too. Data representation. Data representation. So, Piradinidhituvam, what it means is, for example, I'm giving one practical example. Let's say, you know, every country, for example, if you take our country, Sri Lanka, almost other countries, representatives are there. We call them ambassador, right? Ambassadors are the representatives of that particular country. They are representing that country in our country. For example, if there is Indian ambassador, is the person who is representing Indian president in our country. Likewise, from our country, in different countries, Sri Lankan ambassadors are there. They are representing our country or our government in other countries. So sales representative. So sales rep, he is representing the sales of the company. On behalf of the company, he is making the sales. On behalf of the company, he is making the sales. Now, let's say we have a photo. We have a photo. Printed photo. How we can represent it? Okay, we have a physical copy of it, right? For example, if we need NIC, we go to the studio and we get the photo, and he will print it and he will give it to us as a hard copy. So that photo we are representing as the hard copy. What is the situation of computer? What is the situation? How computer can represent this photo? How computer can represent this photo? Now we are typing hello and saving it as a Word file. How can computer can represent it? Whether computer stores this as a word or as the exact word hello, or does it use any other format, or those are the things we are going to learn now, right? So represent, how computer representing data, how computer representing data, right? Okay, there was an answer, we will come to that, right? But okay, thank you. So we'll continue now. Right. Now another question, please try to answer me, right? Because I want to understand you better, right? So then only I can teach you the way you want, right? It's meaningless if I teach without knowing whether you understand or not, right? So let me ask another question. Please try to answer, please try to give the answer, right? Now let's take this. I just want you understand better about you, right? Then only I can teach you, right? Because we are now, there are how many students? There are 75 students, including myself. We are 75. So now from 1 to 4 o'clock, we are going to spend our time here. So multiplied by 3, that is what? 225 hours, human hours. 200 and so now we are 75 people spending 3 hours, we are online. So it is all about 225 human hours. If we divide by 24 hours, how many days? More or less it is 9 days. Is equal to 9 days. So what I am coming to say is, at the end of the session, we should have the output of 9 days effective working. So let's say there is a huge sand. Now, if 75 people, if all of us can, with the bucket, if we try to move it here, I think in few minutes we can move it, right? Because we are 75 people. So if only single person working, then he will be taking 9 days. Now we are 75 people spending 3 hours. That is equal to 9 days of productive hours. So we should get the output like that. So that's why I'm trying to understand about you. Then whatever I teach will be useful to you, right? So now I want to understand about you. So I have asked one question, right? I ask one question. I just want to know your level of English knowledge, because you are first year, first semester student. So I don't know anything about you, right? And also I'm told to continue the class in English. So that is also better, right? So because IT, I used to tell IT, and I used to tell my student even at BCAS or SLIET, IT and English are twins. Twins, twins, rettapullayal. If you try to separate it, you can't, right? So sometimes you may be good in IT, sometimes you may have to develop English, no problem. Try to develop that, right? Now everything is based on IT. So if you are good in IT, on the other hand, you will develop your English. If you are good in English, also it will be very easy to learn IT, right? So now I ask one question, because in O level and A level, in O level, I know nothing about English, right? I know nothing about English. So now I ask one question. Now let's take English. In each language there are 4 skills, right? Reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Now I will give a number one. Okay, we don't need number, right? Right. Now you want to tell me which is if we want to learn English, if we want to master English language, what is the very first skill we have to learn? Englishல நம்ம மாஸ்டர் பண்ணணும்னு சொன்னா, இங்கிலீஷ் நல்லா லேர்ன் பண்ணணும்னு சொன்னா, முதலாவது லாங்குவேஜ் முதலாவது ஸ்கில் எதை நாங்க படிக்கணும்? Whether is it reading, writing, listening or speaking? Which one we have to learn?
Reading, sir.
Of course, you can give your own answer. I will tell later. You whatever you feel very important, just drop it as a chat or using your mic also you can respond. So I am getting answer. Some of you are telling reading, some of you are telling listening. My question is, which one is the first one? Which one is the first one? So I am getting responses, right? Okay. Most of you are telling listening. Some of you have answered reading. Right. So I am happy that you have some idea about it. Now, these 4 skills are common in any language, right? 4 skills are common in any language. Now, if I assume you that your mother tongue is Tamil, Tamil also has these 4 skills. Read same skill, not only Tamil, any language has these 4 skills: writing, listening, and speaking. Now tell me, which is the first skill you acquired in Tamil? It was whether it was reading or writing or listening or speaking. Which was the first skill you learned in Tamil?
First one is listening, sir.
Listening. First one, listening, right? So let's assume we were the baby now, right? You are the baby coming out from mother's womb, right? We were the baby. Then immediately we didn't start reading any book. We didn't do that. We didn't write anything. We didn't speak immediately. What we did was we were silent and listening. We were silent and listening other people's speaking when other people were speaking. The very first skill when we were a child, when we born out of our mother's womb, we didn't do reading or writing or speaking. The only thing that we were doing was We were listening what other people were speaking. Then what did we do? We didn't start reading or writing. What we did was,
second one speaking.
first நான் என்ன செஞ்சோம், லிசன் பண்ணினோம். அடுத்தாக்கள் பேசுறத, எங்க அம்மா வாப்பா, அடுத்தது பிரதர் சிஸ்டர் இருந்தா அவங்க பேசுறத we were listening. Then we started to speak. We started to call amma, appa and so on. After that only what we did started to read. The final thing is only we did as writing. This is the common rule for any language. If you want to learn English, you can imagine, right? If any of your brother or sister or your relative had gone to foreign countries, sometime after A level or O level, they might have gone to any foreign country. At that time, they didn't know anything, but if they come back here, they will speak very good English, or if they have gone to any Arabic country, they will speak very good Arabic. How did they do? They didn't even study. Even if you ask them to read Arabic or English, they won't be able to do that. Then how come they are speaking very good English and Arabic? It is due to listening. They went there, in those countries, people were speaking Arabic and English, so they were keep on listening and they started to speak. Our people also, you can think bus driver or bus conductor, they are not very learned people, but they will speak very good Sinhala. Why? They go to Colombo often, so they listen and they started to speak. You give the paper and ask them to read Sinhala, they won't be able to do that. They can't read it. So if you want to develop English, first thing, listen. That's what I am coming to say. Now our class is going on in English, right? Sometime at the beginning it will be very difficult for you to understand. If you avoid that, அதை நீங்க அவாய்ட் பண்ணி வந்தீங்கன்னு சொன்னா, அந்த சான்ஸை கொடுக்காம நீங்க ஸ்டாப் பண்ணிட்டே வந்தீங்க, நீங்க இங்கிலீஷ்ல கேட்கலன்னு சொன்னா, you won't be able to speak. You will never ever be able to speak. Without listening, you can't speak that language. If you want to speak English, the only way you can do that is by listening. So now if you take these 4 skills, reading, writing, speaking, listening. So now we are here, we are a person, expressive and receptive. So expressive means we can express. நம்ம கதைக்கிறது, நம்ம எழுதுறதெல்லாம் express. நம்மோட கருத்தை நம்ம வெளியே சொல்றோம். That is expressive. இன்னொரு விஷயத்திலிருந்து நம்ம அதை உள்வாங்கிறத சொல்லுவோம் receptive. Right. So here reading is expressive or receptive. Or other way we can tell, this is output,
receptive,
this is input. நமக்குள்ள மொழி வாரத்துக்குரிய வழிதான் இன்புட் அல்லது ரிசெப்டிவ்னு சொல்றோம். நம்மோட மொழியை நம்ம வெளிப்படுத்துறது, நம்மோட கருத்தை, சிந்தனை, எண்ணத்தை வெளிப்படுத்துறத எக்ஸ்பிரசிவ் அல்லது அவுட்புட்னு சொல்றோம். ரைட். ஸோ ரீடிங்ன்றது நம்மோட விளங்கி நமக்குள்ள மொழி வாரதா, நம்ம ஒரு கருத்தை சொல்றதா. Receptive, है ना? Reading is what? Receptive, input, right? So there was a comment that my voice is not clear. Is it clear now? Can you listen to me clearly? Is it clear? Can you hear me clearly? நான் பேசுறது விளங்குதா?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So reading is receptive input. We are getting the language to us. Likewise, listening is input. These two are the input. If you read in return, what you can do? நம்ம நல்லா வாசிக்கிறோம் and சொன்ன what we can do? We will be able to write. You are listening. Every day you are listening English. Let's say you are now going to United Kingdom. There are people will be speaking. Your English is listening. English is heard by your ears. Then what will happen? Automatically, you will be able to speak. So, if you want to express language, I mean, if you want to write or speak, you have to give the input, required input. If you want to write good in English, you have to read a lot. If you want to speak in English, you have to listen. Without doing this input, without giving the necessary input, you won't be able to make out of it. You won't be able to express the language, right? No matter whether it's Tamil or Sinhala or English or any other language. So you have to give the opportunity for you to receive the language. The way to receive the language is by listening and reading. So this class also, even though sometimes you may not understand at the beginning, try to listen. Don't skip that. So try to listen this, try to listen to me, right? Sometime if you don't understand anything, feel free to ask me, then I can explain it again, right? So this is one note I wanted to tell. Now my question is, now there is English language. Now we have 4 skills. If I say I know English, it should mean I know all these 4. I should be able to understand if anyone speak. இன்னொருத்தர் பேசினா அவர் சொல்றதுட கருத்து எனக்கு விளங்கும். Then only I know I am good in listening. Then if I want to tell anything, I should be able to speak it. Then reading. What's the meaning of reading? If I read it, I should understand its meaning. Then if I want to tell anything formally, I should be able to write. So English பொறுத்த வரையில these are the 4 skills. இந்த 4 ஸ்கில்லையும் சேர்த்து 4 அறவே தெரியாது என்று சொல்றால் 0. எல்லாமே நல்ல இயலும் சொல்றால் ஹை மார்க்ஸ், லோ. ஒரு ஆள் ஏன் நான் ஒரு ஆக்கிட்ட கேட்க போறேன், நீங்க சாட்ல ரிப்ளை பண்ணுங்க. Okay, you consider all these 4. When marking, when giving or deciding your level of English knowledge, I just need you to consider all these 4 skills. அந்த 4 ஸ்கில்லையும் கன்சிடர் பண்ணி உங்களோட இங்கிலீஷுக்கு நீங்க ஒரு மார்க்ஸ் ஒன்று கொடுங்க. 4லையுமே ஒன்றுமே ஏலான் அப்படி யாரும் இருக்க மாட்டாங்க. உதாரணத்துக்கு விளங்குறதுக்கு சொல்றேன். அப்படி இருந்தா அது அவரோட ரேட் வந்து 0. எனக்கு எல்லாம் ஒரு அளவுக்கு ஏழுமைக்குது. You can rate yourself, right? You only know your level. So based on that, sometimes some may give 3, some may give 7, some may give 9, and so on. So the 4 ஸ்கில்லையும் கன்சிடர் பண்ணி இந்த மார்க்கிங்கையும் கன்சிடர் பண்ணி 0ல இருந்து 10ல உங்களோட என்ன லெவல் எனக்கு கொஞ்சம் சொல்லிடுமா? Just put it in the chat box. Consider all these 4. and mark it out of 0 to 10. So I just need the overall. So all of them are like English natives. All of them are putting more than 5. Then I think I don't need to use Tamil, right? I can fully continue in English as it looks. Right, okay. Okay. Okay, so on an average, I'm getting above 5. So above 5 is a good indicator, right? Okay, let's come back to the slides. So ways of representing data or information. Ways of representing data or information. So data or information can be represented in 1 or 2 ways. Analog or digital. Analog. Analog. Now I am speaking, my voice is coming to you. Now my voice is coming to you. Voice is naturally an analog. Voice is naturally an analog process, right? Analog, the waveform, it's like this. There is no any fixed value here. It is sequentially changing like this. This is analog. Digital, discrete. So here is the point. Here is a point. Here is a point, like that, right? That's a fixed value, discrete value, right? So this is digital. So if we want to represent data, we have 2 ways. Either we can represent using analog or digital, right? Analog or digital, right? So now let's take this example. So analog data is a continuous representation. Continuous representation. For example, my voice. I am speaking now. So the voice is a part of an analog process. Analogous to the actual information is present. Analog data uses values that changes very smoothly. So in this wave format, analog data. For example, you can take the clock, analog clock with the second. So it is the clockwise, it is keep on changing, right? Every second is keep on changing, right? So there are devices, some of the devices are analog devices. Some of the devices are analog devices. So those examples of analog devices include microphone. So microphone. So now in my case, I am using microphone just to talk to you with the headset. So that is microphone, your headphone, speaker, sensors, temperature sensor. So you see here in the picture. So these are analog. These are analog devices. These are analog devices. It changes smoothly, right? On the other hand, digital data is a discrete or kind of fixed representation, breaking the information up into separate discrete element. For example, now it is exactly for example, 223, sorry, 223, 30-second. There's a fixed discrete value. Now after some time there will be a fixed discrete value, 50-second, like this. So the fixed discrete element. So digital data jumps from one value to the next in a step by step. You see here 4, 5. In between there is nothing. In between there is nothing. So in the analog process, you see it is changing here. In between analog values are there here. But in digital is 1, 2. In between there is nothing. 3, 4 like that. So discrete. In each point it has a discrete value. That is digital. So digital clock is a very good example for that. Likewise, all the digital devices use digital data. So examples: computer, laptop, iPad, mobile phone, MP3 player, digital camera. These are digital data. Right? So basically, analog devices produce analog data. So you can see the analog signal, right? We are not going to go in very detail about this analog. Only thing you have to understand the difference, right? Digital data you see here, it is discrete. So here is 1, then here 0, 1, 0, 1, like that, right? Fixed value, stepping, square, and discrete. So it is 0, 1, 0, 1, and 0, 1, like that. So this is digital data. Now we come to understand this. For example, now I am speaking. So it's voice coming through mic. Now you are listening. How do you listen? Using a speaker. Now what is this speaker? Is it a digital device or analog device? Speaker, analog device. Mic, also analog device. Now in between, what connects us? Computer. Computer is receiving and computer is giving it back to you. Analog data, computer is what? Digital device. Now computer receives the data as analog data and then it converts to digital data and then again converting it to analog data. The same process is being repeated. So now we are able to speak and listen. So we at a time we have mic and speaker. So here there are two types of data converters. So this is what we have to understand here. So analog to digital converter. So now I am speaking my voice. If we want to play it in computer, analog data cannot be processed by computer. What does computer do? Using this analog to digital converter, that analog data is converted as digital data in computer. Again, if you want to listen to that using speaker, computer has the digital data, speaker can only play the analog data, then again there is a digital to analog converter that converts it back to analog data. So we are able to listen analog voices. So I already explained that. So I just have a quick view. Yes. There was a request to excuse, or you want to have some break or what? Right. There is a question how to convert analog to digital. So that part actually related
Sir.
with the yes.
I have some question. Can
Yeah,
I
sure.
ask?
Yeah, sure.
So, what is the type of the radio waves? As well as microwaves, walkie-talkie.
Yeah. Actually, those details. Okay. I will take another time to explain that. Right.
Okay, sir.
I will come to that. Thank you for asking the question. First of all, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Right. So here those analog data is controlled by, there is a, for example, in our computer there is a sound card. Do you all know, right? Sound card is there in our computer. It is where, for example, if you are using laptop, that is not visible, but anyway, if you use desktop computer, there is a sound card in which only we connect the mic and speaker, right? So sound card is the one that acts as the analog to digital converter and also digital to analog converter. So sound card has this converter. So someone is speaking, so it's an analog signal sent from microphone. So sound card will receive this analog signal to the right. Analog signal sent from microphone. So it will be received by the sound card. Then sound card, if we want to store that to our computer needs the data to be in digital. So in that case, what the sound card will do is it will convert it to digital data. The same way, now let's say in our computer we have a song in MP3 format. It's a digital data. Now we want to listen to it using our speaker, right? Here is it, right? So now we want to listen to the song using our speaker. So now our computer has the digital data, right? Our computer has the digital data. Now again, the sound card works as the interface or the converter, digital to analog converter. So this digital data again converted by the sound card and send it back to speaker as the analog data, so that we are able to listen the sound, right? Right. Now this is something important you have to understand. So earlier, so John von Neumann, he is referred to as father of computer. He opened up the way for the computer today we are using, right? So that's why he is referred as the father of computer. Before him, earlier, computer design was based on decimal representation. Decimal numbers means from 0 to 9. We use 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 9 to represent data in computer. We used 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 in computer. So this is by Mark 1 and ENIAC, right? ENIAC computers. Then John von Neumann, he proposed binary data processing. He is the one referred as father of computer. He is the one who proposed, so this is not, we can use binary data for the computer. So this actually simplified the computer design. So this has led to the computer that we are using today. So computers are digital. Computers are digital. So it's a digital device. They recognize only two distinct values, on and off. Digital device knows what? It knows only on and off. If you supply the power, it's in on state. If you doesn't supply the power, it is in off state, right? On and off. So this on and off or 1 or 0, these are naturally related. In the normal usage also, we use this. So if you take a bulb, on and off, true or false, yes or no, 1 or 0, these are naturally we are using. So he proposed this way, right? Even for the natural relationship, on off switch, calculation using Boolean algebra, this will cover later, right? So all these are supported by this proposal, that is, he proposed to use 0 and 1. So we know binary, that we will come little later now. If time permits, we will discuss that today also. Right. Now these are, hereafter we are coming to the important parts. You have to have very clear understanding, right? So before that, do you have any questions up to now? So if you have any questions up to now, I'm giving 5 minutes. So if you have any questions, please ask me. You can ask about the subject or what we discussed now or any other thing related to IT. You can ask me, right? You have to remember, internet speed is measured in megabit per second. It's measured in bits, whereas file size are measured in bytes. If you are actually getting 1 bit per second, what you are actually getting? So that's what you have to clearly understand. So here it's small b, it means bits. Here it's byte. So now we have to do the calculation. 1 GB at the speed of downloading 1 megabits per second. So we can simply solve this. We can convert this to megabits, isn't it? So 1 GB is equal to, இது clear? Internet speed, internet service providers measure பண்றது bitல. That's how the usual speed code is this one, right? So first you have to convert this to megabytes. So 1 GB is equal to 1024 megabytes, capital B. Now you know 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. Now if you want to convert this byte to bits, you have to, what do you have to do? 1000 MB. If you want to tell it in megabits, you have to multiply by 8 megabits. So you will get 192 megabits. Now you have to divide this by 1 megabit per second. So it will take 8,192 seconds. So if you divide this, let's use calculator. It will take 136 minutes, more or less. It will take around, if you divide this by 60, you get the minutes, that is 136.00. Then it will take 2 hours and around 17 minutes. Right. Now, some of you want me to explain again. No problem. Let me explain this. Now, first of all, byte ன்னு சொல்றது 8 bitsக்கு சமம். That's one thing. And also, to denote byte, we use the letter capital B. To denote bits, we use the capital letter B. So when it comes to file sizes, file size, document size measure பண்ணக்குள்ள bytesல தான் நாங்க measure பண்ணோம். So I gave one example, 1 GB, 1 gigabyte. File size is 1 gigabyte. But when we measure internet speed, we measure in megabit per second, not in the byte, not in byte. We don't measure in byte. So bits. Actually, if you are getting 1 megabits per second, 1024 kilobyte is equal to 1 mega. So if you divide by 8, actually you are getting the download, your download speed will be, right? You can see, you can observe. Hereafter, when you download anything, you observe. Your connection speed will be 1 megabit per second. Your 1 megabit per second. Then, if you divide this 1024 KB, because mega means 1024 kilobyte, right? 8, then you get 224 by 8. Uh, 60, then 64 is there, divide 120 kilobyte per second. உண்மையில ஒரு 1 megabit per second உங்களோட இன்டர்நெட் ஸ்பீடுன்னு சொன்னா நீங்க ஃபைலை டவுன்லோட் பண்ணக்குள்ள உங்களோட ஸ்பீட், ஃபைல் டவுன்லோட் பண்ற ரேட்டை வந்து 128 கிலோ பைட் per second இருக்கும். ஏன்னா ஃபைல் சைஸ் வந்து மெஷர் பண்றது பைட்ல, பெரிய அலகு கம்பேர் டு திஸ் பிட். பிட்டுங்கிறது ஒரு சின்ன அலகு, அதாவது ஒரு பைட் வந்து 8 பிட். அப்ப ஒரு பிட்டுங்கிறது பைட்ல 8ல் 1 மடங்கு தான் பிட். ஆனா இன்டர்நெட் ஸ்பீடை மெஷர் பண்ணக்குள்ளதான் நாங்க என்ன சொல்லுவோம், பிட்ல தான் நாங்க அதை அளக்குறோம். இட்ஸ் a common practice. அப்ப பிட்டை கன்சிடர் பண்ணி நம்ம டவுன்லோட் ஸ்பீடை பார்த்தோம்னு சொன்னா அது 8ல் 1 மடங்கு தான் எங்களுக்கு உண்மையா டவுன்லோட் ஆகும், ஃபைல் டவுன்லோட் ஸ்பீட் ஆகக்குள்ள. ஏன் பிட்ல நம்ம ஸ்பீட் நமக்கு கிடைக்குது, ஃபைல்ல பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் அது பைட்ல இருக்கு. அப்ப உண்மையா நீங்க என்ன ஸ்பீட் உங்களுக்கு டவுன்லோட் ஆகும்னு சொன்னா ஃபைல் டவுன்லோட் கிலோ பைட் ஆகும். மீன் 1 MB மெகா பிட்டுங்கிறது உண்மையில 1 மெகா பிட்டுங்கிறது 128 கேபிக்கு தான் சமம். 128 கேபிக்கு தான் சமம். அப்ப இதுல உண்மையான மீனிங் என்னன்னா 1 megabit per second இன்டர்நெட் ஸ்பீட்ல ஒரு எம்பி ஃபைலை நீங்க டவுன்லோட் பண்ணது 8 செகண்ட் உங்களுக்கு தேவைப்படும். அது வேற அட்டோனேஷன் அப்படி நிறைய இது இருக்குது. இந்த அதே ஸ்பீட்ல உங்களுக்கு கிடைக்காது. இப்போ உங்களுக்கு பில்டிங் கான்கிரீட் பண்ணப்பட்டிருந்தா நிறைய பேரியர்ஸ் இருந்தா அதே ஸ்பீட் வராது. மேக்சிமம் அது கிடைக்குது என்று சொன்னாலும் அதை 8ஆல நீங்க டிவைட் பண்ணக்குள்ள 128 கிலோபைட் தான் கிடைக்கும். Fiber optics, we are told now we have fiber optics 100 megabit per second ன்னு சொல்றாங்க. உண்மையில 100 megabits per secondum கிடைச்சா உண்மையில ஃபைல் டவுன்லோட் ரேட் எப்படி இருக்க போகுது? You have to divide by 8. 100 divided by 8, then you get around 12.5 megabyte per second. ஒவ்வொரு செகண்டுக்கும் 12.5 megabytes டவுன்லோட் ஆகிக்கொண்டிருக்கும். ஸோ அந்த நேரம் 1 gigabyteன்னு சொன்னால் அதை இப்போ நாங்கள் பிரிக்கக்குள்ள 1 GBக்கு எங்களுக்கு ஒரு 80 seconds, 1 minute, 1.5 minutesல we will be able to download that. So that's why, so we did the calculation. Here 1 GB, here 1 megabit. So we had to do the calculation, we had to bring this both to a common format. So now I want to convert this 1 GB to megabyte. So you know 1 GB is equal to 124 megabyte. Now on the other hand, here we have 1 megabit. The byte like இது bit like இது. ரெண்டே ஒரே ஃபார்மட்டுக்கு ஆக்குறேன்னு சொன்னா இது ஈஸி. எங்களுக்கு மெகா பிட் ஆக்கினோம்னு சொன்னா பைட்டை பிட் ஆக்குறது 8ஆல பெருக்கணும். ஸோ 8ஆல பெருக்கிற நேரம் எங்களுக்கு மெகா பிட்ஸ் வரும். ஸோ தட் இஸ் 8192 megabits. So per second we are getting 1 megabit. So to download this we need 92 seconds. If you divide by, if you want to convert this to hours, you get nearly 2 hours and 17 minutes. I hope it's clear now. Is it clear? Right. So with that attendance, we will wind up now. So wait a minute. Wait. I have a YouTube channel. Yes, right. So I will let me put the link so you can check it. I always put the notes. Hopefully this also I will upload by tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So it's my YouTube channel. If you want, you can subscribe. So all my lectures are here. Even I do web design, Python, and some other interesting topics. So if it is useful, you can subscribe it and watch it, right? So it's my YouTube channel. So hopefully I will also share this lecture also, hopefully in tomorrow, right? So I have to do some edits and I will upload, so you can check it.